It's your show. Let's swap that around. There we go.
All right, David.
All right, mate. Enjoying the sunshine, my friend.
My God, honestly, Jesus Christ, it's this weather. That's what we live for. Blue skies.
It's weird, isn't it? You don't get this in England.
I'll tell you what it's not, though. It's not a blue moon. Because they fucking lost last night. Fair play to Chelsea. Can you believe a mediocre team like that went and won the Champions League? That's amazing.
I know. I did see a big shout out to the greatest comment in history, Michael Brown. Quick shout out for your Facebook post on was it Tuesday, saying all the European Cups going back to Manchester.
Phenomenal work. But Dave, we can't start an afternoon late night show without this.
Snowflakes? It's not for them, Gaffer.
Very nice.
We're gonna make it out on here. Oh, mate, Motley Crue, big up. They're big fans of the show, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. The messages all the time.
But what I was going to say, David, is this. Ooh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special show for you right now. The sun is shining. The weather is sweet. Let's go.
Anyway. This is the earliest late night show you have ever done.
Yeah, and I'm not late.
No, you're not late.
Not late. I'm rocking.
You are. It was meant to go on 10 o'clock last night.
I've got, the sun's out, guns out, that kind of thing. Walk. Yeah,
loving the Marvel top.
Listen, I'm not under any illusion. I have no muscles, don't worry. But you know what, mate? Like we just said, sun is shining, weather is sweet. Freds is playing football next year.
I thought you were going to go all Bob Marley then. Sun is shining, weather is sweet again.
At the end of the day, we're a football page. Let's talk about football. Last night, Man City, Chelsea, Champions League final. And you know what? Fair play to them, Chelsea boys.
Yeah. I was going to touch on that.
Do you not think that there's so many people taking the rip out of Man City that we're not really giving Chelsea the respect that... Because most people are talking about Man City, not Chelsea, and I think that's wrong.
Oh, Dave, I think, at the end of the day, right, Chelsea have beaten Man City 3 times. Yeah. If there was a team that were going to beat Man City last night, it was Chelsea.
Quick quiz for you. Who's the only other manager in the Premier League that has beaten Man City 3 times consecutively? Premier League manager, by the way.
What is this, a fucking quiz?
Just...
Ask it to the members because I don't know.
There we go, members. Question for you. Which manager... So... Tuchel's done it. He was the second person to do it. He was the first person to do it. Beat Pep's Man City 3 times consecutively.
Yeah, Dave, again, it's not a quiz. Just give us the fucking answer, mate.
It was Jurgen Norbert Klopp.
Of course it was.
Oh, thanks, baby.
Although I'm pretty sure Ollie's done it as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Careful, you. Freddie back, kick your drink over.
Oof. What is your drink of choice this afternoon?
Pink gin with lemonade and some rhubarb infusion.
I mean, if we're talking inventive, this.
Dave,
fresh orange juice.
Oh, yeah. Who invited you to this party? You were on the back of my house. You ain't coming to my house without bringing a bottle. And if you don't bring a bottle, you can fuck off, mate. You're getting out.
Mate, I will bring a caramel latte.
Who the bloody hell are you?
That's the difference between me and Mr. Late Night Show, by the way. That is the big difference.
Do you know what? Your new name from now on is The Melt.
The Melt.
The Melt.
The Melt.
Absolute melt.
Wait there. Can I change it now?
No, because then you have to leave and come back.
Oh
my God. You actually still call yourself the Gaffer. That's embarrassing, Dave.
No. So basically, I forgot to change it. It was meant to be the Gaffer's Gaff exclusive.
You forgot to
every
change
other time.
Dave,
I am
before
Dave.
you come on StreamYard, you choose the name yourself every time.
Right,
you're about.
If we don't forget, actually, when the Halloween special, you called me Princess. You put me under Princess, and then I ended up doing 2 shows as Princess because I completely forgot.
You're a Melt. Excuse me, mate. What do you say? Oh yeah, Dave's a Melt. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Honestly.
Anyway, back to the football. Where are the winners, Chelsea?
Chelsea, they have the biggest pat on the back than anyone's ever had in their lives, mate. At the end of the day, they were phenomenal last night. It was a boring game. Thursday was boring against Man United, and we can touch on that as well if you want to. Man United. There's boring.
There are 2 players I do want to touch on for Chelsea. Actually, first one being Kante. I thought he was unbelievable last night.
The guy is the biggest baller in world football right now. You don't call it the Makelele role no more. It's the Kante role. That guy
when he did that,
is phenomenal.
He did that tackle literally last minute. Last minute of normal time last night, and you would have thought he'd just kicked the game off. It's like the guy just does not run out of energy.
You've got
casual as you want.
In football, Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Kane. They get the plaudits because they scored the goals.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right now, he's one of the best players in the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's in that unfortunate position that's underappreciated. I mean, there's so many good defensive midfielders and people that play that role that don't get recognised, and Kante being one of the, if not the best in that position. I mean, you look at Ndidi for Leicester, you look at Fabinho for Liverpool, that central defensive midfield role does not get the appreciation that it deserves because it's a bloody hard role to play.
You do the hard work, but at the end of the day, I was watching the Match of the Day podcast earlier.
Afternoon, sir. I don't know who you are, but just let us know. Thank you. Sorry.
They were saying Gary Lineker, Micah Richards and Alan Shearer, they were saying, one of the best players in the Premier League history is actually Kante. He's such an unsung hero. And put the bullshit aside about he drives a Mini or he runs to training and blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to business. Right, about football, right?
Oh, hello, Marcus.
He's an absolute baller. One of the best footballers that has graced our wonderful league that we have.
He clearly loves the game, doesn't it? I don't think, you know what? I think if someone went to Kante and says, you know what, you can play football for peanuts, he would still play. He comes across as that kind of player. He doesn't really play for the money for me. Sorry. Have you? Yeah. Do you want to say hello to everyone on the live? Say hello. There we go.
Yeah, she didn't say hi.
No. It's very good, darling. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing.
We've got to do it in the gardening.
Well, you're not doing the gardening. You're on here.
I'm on the show, yeah. But no, I totally agree with you. Unsung here. Another person I think gets a lot of stick, and what I think's been excellent this season was Rudiger. He reminded me, especially in this Champions League campaign and against Leicester City, one of the last games of the season, he almost reminded me of the Sergio Ramos dirty, do anything to win kind of player. And I think he come under a lot of criticism last season. He was dropped for a large part of it. And since he's come back in, I think he's been kind of a little bit of Chelsea's unsung hero, actually. Not the best player for Chelsea, but he's done a job for them, and he's done a great job.
He has done well. I think he's been blessed to have a partnership with Thiago Silva, which again, another legend of the game. Can't believe Chelsea's signed him. They got him for another year. You know, fantastic footballer. You know, we've admired him from afar. And, you know, he's graced the Premier League. He's done very well. He's a great player, great defender. Like I said, legend of the game. But you know, the season's finished now, right, Dave?
Yeah.
We don't need to talk too much about it because it's done now. We've got the Euros coming, buzzing for that. You know, I'll be loving, you know, get beers in the garden, get the gazebo up, get the England games on, be with my friends. I ain't bothered back for a pub. I want to do it with the people that I love, that I respect.
It's going to be strange because it's well documented. I've not been a fan of international football, but you know what? I've seen the fans back. And seeing the fans back has actually made me excited again for the Euros. Because, like I say, football this season, when the fans ain't there, it has been a bit of a hard watch at times. And seeing the fans come back has really, really sparked my excitement for the Euros.
Right, it's phenomenal. You know, to have, you know, they're on about England 16th of June. England v Scotland, 8 o'clock kickoff, 80,000 people.
Wow. It's one of them. It's, as the old saying goes, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And I think fans not being a football.
But anyway, big up England. I hope we can do it. I don't think we will. But there's going to be highs and lows throughout the tournament. You know, you look back to the World Cup, you know, Pickford's penalty save against Colombia, actually winning a penalty shootout. His free kick against Croatia, and it all ends up in tears. But at the end of the day, this is not about England. This chat is not about international football. No. But big up England. Hope to it. Come on, Shava.
Yeah. Quick plug before the way. There will be a European Gaffers Gaff special on episode 7 of the Gaffers Gaff. So a couple of weeks yet.
Episode 7. Who are you? What are you on about?
I planned, mate. All my episodes have been planned out. So all 8 episodes are already planned.
Mate, you're an absolute melt.
This is I have got a picture of how Lewis feels about me right now.
Yeah. I am waiting for John Terry. But what I'm going to do right now, right, is I'm going to give you, reflecting on the Premier League season, I'm going to give you my
Yes. We're doing the Gaffers one on thingy. This is like a, what did you call it? Like a spoiling preview.
It's
something like that.
Spoiler alert, here's my team of the year. But plugging Dave's show, the Dave's Dave.
The Dave's Dave.
That's what I'm calling it. I'm not calling it the Dave's Dave. It's the DD. And yeah, Dave's got a show coming in the week. He's put a lot of effort into it. He's made some videos. It's going to be epic. I'll be there. But
I'm looking forward to it. So this, I'm kind of going to, like, what am I doing? Am I talking? Obviously, I can't agree or disagree with your decisions, even if I do agree or disagree, because I will spoil all mine.
All right, let's not say who your team of the season is, because obviously you'd spoil your own show. But for me, looking back on this Premier League season, I would say that this for me is my team of the year. And people will agree, people will disagree. I've had to get a Leeds player in there, had to. We've had an absolute phenomenal season. One of the guys that I've chosen, we wouldn't have finished where we did without him. And I'm so thankful that Southgate sees it too. He started the last 3 England games, and he will start in the Euros too, trust me.
Big shout.
If Jordan Henderson doesn't start, he will start. 100%.
He is a bit like they are different. He is a bit like a younger Jordan Henderson.
No, he's
but
not.
obviously, no, they have got different. I think.
Are you chatting shit? You are.
Well, hang on. Are you telling me that he's better than Henderson
Underwood right now? Chatting fucking waffle.
Hang on? Are you telling me that this guy, or I think I know who you're talking about, is better than Jordan Henderson?
Yes.
No.
100 million fucking % David.
No. Don't agree.
You don't know what you're talking about, mate. You don't know what you're talking about. Jordan Henderson, he's a leader. He's
former player of the season.
For doing what? For talking a lot.
So I mean, you need to watch the games.
Fuck off. Ridiculous.
Great player. He's a brilliant player.
Anyway,
we're not even starting the team, is it?
Not about you, David. He doesn't get nowhere near my squad, let alone my team.
Not this season, but go on.
Right. And in this 11, I've got 3 Leeds players. 3.
Interesting. I've not made my mind up on. I've got one that I'm kind of in and ahhing about. Until last night, there's a bit of a.
I'm going to give a big shout out to Stuart Dallas right now. United end of season awards last week. He won Players Player, Player of the Season, and Goal of the Season. The guy is the most underrated football player I think we've got in the Premier League. He's an absolute baller. Amazing.
He's
play anywhere. Because I couldn't tell you. If I would say to you right now, what position does Stuart Dallas play?
I would probably, if you was asking me, obviously I don't watch Leeds every week, central mid. But he's very versatile. It does remind me, not going back to Liverpool now, but I'm only talking versatility here, not ability. James Milner is both are very, very versatile players. And let's be honest, every team in the world wants a player that can play multiple positions.
I'll give you that. What would you say James Milner's best position is? I don't think you could tell me.
Mate, I wouldn't. I mean, he started off on the wing, believe it or not. He was a wing, he's got midfield.
Believe it or not, he's the youngest player to play for Leeds in the Premier League, mate. I know where he started. He was a winger.
I mean, I've seen him. The only position I've not seen him is in goal.
That could still happen yet, Dave.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we go back and proper look into it, you never know.
But anyway, we're going to go 1 to 11, and I'm going to start with the goalkeeper. And if there's any goalkeeper that has stood out more than anyone, it's the 12-year-old that plays for Leeds United.
The 12-year-old.
He has broken every single Premier League record there is to break for a goalkeeper of his age.
He's. I tell you what, he looks solid. He does look genuinely. It doesn't look like he's got a mistake in him. You know, like sometimes you look at a goalkeeper and you think early doors, you think, "Hey, up this guy."
Oh, listen. No, don't get to start the season. I used to get the Jaws music in my head. Dun, 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 dun. Like, sometimes I did get it. I'll be honest with you, but Mejele, he's finished a 38-game season with a record 14 clean sheets, right?
Yeah.
He's beat Joe Hart's record for the of his age.
How old is he again?
He's 21.
I mean, 21 for a goalkeeper. That is basically. I mean, I know I laughed at Lewis saying about being 12-year-old. For a goalkeeper, I mean, a lot of goalkeepers don't actually get in first teams until mid-20s. You know what I mean? So 21 is practically a 12-year-old if he was a striker or something like that. When you look at the comparison of ages breaking into a team, and
he's been phenomenal.
He's definitely got a bright future, isn't it? Very bright.
He is France's current number 2 goalkeeper. And only because of how he's done this year. He was only in their youth team, as he was with Leeds. And circumstance put him in that number one position with United. He's been phenomenal. You look at the stats as well. He is top of saves for this year. You know. And what? For a team like Leeds that let loads of goals in, because all we do is attack, we have one way of playing football.
Yeah, I disagree with that. It started off.
No, to start the season, that is exactly how we were. But
Yeah.
we moved on from that. We learned from it. And it is different. I'm so glad Bielsa's staying. I'm so glad that, you know... Anyway, this is not about Leeds tonight. Right. Anyway, Meslier in goal. My left back of the season would be Luke Shaw. I think he's been a revelation. And to see where he's come from when he was written off by Mourinho, stuff like that. And
he's had his demons, hasn't he?
Again, for me, he starts for England at left back as well.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not going to say if I agree or disagree. But I 100% can see why you've put it in there. I think I like that you've gone back to the fact that, you know, he was written off. A little bit like I explained about Rudiger earlier. I think with him, he's got his head down. He's lost that bit of weight.
Freddie just shot me with a Nerf gun. Right, get here. I'll shoot you back. I think centre-backs, you can't look any further than Diaz and Stones, both of them together.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Stones, another one who's come back from obscurity. I mean, he couldn't get a sniff in the Man City squad.
Yeah. Listen, in Christmas, they were going to sell him. Almost. And he's come back. He smashed it. He starts for England for me again. But Diaz, what a guy. And do you know what? Diaz and Stones together have scored over 10 goals between them as well this season.
Which, yeah, that's impressive for a centre-back partnership.
That gun, I will slap your bottom. Stop it. And then, do you know what, right back? England have got all these luxuries of right backs. James, Trent, Walker. I'm going to put Luke Ayling in there too. Yeah, all right? There's 5. Just off the top of my head. Matty Cash, he had a good season too.
Bissaka.
Bissaka is my right back of the season.
Wow. Okay, I didn't expect that one. Go on.
He doesn't get the plaudits because I don't think he's as attacking as maybe people would like him to be, should we say. But defensively, again, look at the stats. Wan-Bissaka is an absolute baller. What a defender that guy is. And
I think he had a bit of a dodgy last few games, but over a season, he has been pretty damn solid defensively. I always think Bissaka, for me, should be a centre-back. The style of play, he doesn't like to go forward, but he is solid in defence.
You know what?
Situations, he's one of them.
That's the worst shout in the history of shout-outs about football. No, he shouldn't be a centre-back. He's about 3 foot. What are you on about?
I don't think... No, like as a back three, almost. You know, like how Southgate did the back three. I just think that in the modern game, he's not as attacking as the modern-day right-back.
Horrendous shout, Dave. Wan-Bissaka should be a centre-back. Take your fucking head for a wobble, man. That's a joke.
No, as a back three, I think he would be better.
Not a chance. His position is right back. Very good at it. Bloody back. Anyway, going on to the midfields, right? I've got 3. Yeah. And I want.
Are you doing a 4-3-3? Yeah.
Yeah. I want someone in that holding role, and there's only one player that I want in that holding role, and that's Calvin Phillips.
Okay, massive season for him. Big season.
Absolutely phenomenal. And do you know what?
Go on.
If you ever go and watch the Amazon's documentaries, you know, with Leeds and stuff like that, you'll see in this how much his nan means to him. Rest in peace, Rest in peace, Granny Val. What a legend. Witness again, you saw this on the programme. And she passed away, bless her, this year. And Leeds United gave him 2 weeks off. We're in a Premier League survival fight. There's hundreds of millions of pounds to be fighting for here. He is our best player by far. Our team doesn't work without him. And they went, no, this is more important. And they gave him 2 weeks off halfway through the Premier League.
I mean, that's detrimental to Leeds, isn't it? I mean, we all know Leeds is a very well-run club. It's a club that's very respectful to fans, players alike.
It is.
But that's nice to say, because you wouldn't get that at certain clubs.
No.
I mean, international teams, you don't get that. I mean, you look at
Robbie Keane's situation with Roy Keane when he just had a baby, and the day after, Roy Keane's like, you know what I mean? So
all get to club football. Then the club football runs life.
Yeah.
How many players are injured for England in a friendly against Kazakhstan, yet they're fit for the Saturday? Like, the clubs pay the wages. The clubs call the shots.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've got Calvin Phillips, and there's only 2 players that I can put in here, and no one can disagree with it, and that's Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes. You can't argue with it.
I am, and I will on Tuesday. All right, spoiler alert. One of those 3 is in my team, but I won't reveal which one.
You've got Bruno Fernandes, of course you have.
I'm not saying a thing which one I've got.
Yeah, but listen, I've called it already. Oh, because I'm a Liverpool fan, and I'm going to call a Man United. Look at this.
No, look, I don't do biasness, or I try to be as neutral as I possibly can. Obviously, I'm not going to go into which one I've picked, and all 3 that you've said are extremely good players. Have had extremely good players, and picking these teams, they're not easy. I mean, there's so many great players that's played in central mid this year. You've named 3 of them. You could have, you've got that guy from West Ham. You've got the guy from Brighton. You've got, Fabinho's had a great season.
Declan Rice.
Grealish. Maddison. Kante. We just spoke about Kante.
Kante. Absolute baller. And he's not in my team. And maybe I'm being slightly biased. But for a person that watches these, shut the fuck up. Fucking little fun. Anyway.
Yeah.
Try to do live here. Right.
I mean, it is the hardest position to pick, I think, the central midfield spots. There's so much talent.
Dave, I've got 3 up top, right?
Go on.
I've got 3 up top. But I have 1 behind, 2 up top.
Okay.
Phil Foden.
Yeah, amazing season. I mean, you've made it very clear that you think he's going to win the Ballon d'Or. And at the start, I was kind of a little bit.
Within 5 years, Phil Foden will win the Ballon d'Or.
He's played this season. I watched him for Man City the other week, and the guy is just beyond his years so much. The maturity, he's got pace. People don't realise how quick he is. The ball sticks to his feet. He's got vision. He can tackle. I can't think of one thing that lad cannot do.
other than goalkeeper, and he probably can do that.
Can he catch a ball?
If he can, he's above Kepa.
Phenomenal. Absolutely.
And I tell you what, I give a lot of stick to Pep sometimes, but I think he's managed that lad very well.
What he said when David Silva was leaving last year, he goes, I've already got a replacement for him. Foden. He goes, there's no amount of money on this planet that would make me sell him. Someone could offer me £200 million and I wouldn't sell Phil.
The only way that Phil Foden can mess up is himself. And I think if he's got that maturity, I know that stuff went on in England, but the last half of the season, he's showing this maturity. And I think as long as he doesn't screw himself up, that guy is going to be absolutely huge.
Thing is, though, Dave, imagine, right, put yourself back, rewind, put yourself back at 19 years old with all this money, with this ego kind of thing that's going on, and birds have thrown themselves at you. You know, you're going out, you can do this, you can do that. Hey, I'd be an absolute dickhead. I would ruin my football career. I would be the new Ravel Morrison. You know what I mean? Like, I would be an absolute cunt, right? But this guy got his missus. And that's why football clubs these days as well, they want their young superstars to settle down. So they're not out partying. You know, he's on his second kid already nearly now, you know.
We've seen it so many times with young talent wasting, but I do look, and once again, I give credit to Pep the way he's handled him. And I think if Foden keeps his head straight, he's going to be massive. And you know what? I'm borderline agreeing with you with the Ballon d'Or statement. I didn't earlier on in the season. I put my hands up. There is something special about him.
The question is, how far does he go?
At the moment, the sky's the limit.
100%. Can't argue it at all. But anyway, Phil Foden, absolute baller. Guy's going to win the Ballon d'Or in 5 years. I can't ever leave in Man City unless it's a big transfer to one of them Spanish teams, but we'll see.
Quick question. Put your waistcoat on. You're Gareth Southgate. I'm the media. I'm from the Daily Mirror.
Hello, Mr. Gareth. What position do you play Foden in the Euros? Because people are saying put him central, people are saying put him on the right.
Hey, what, Dave? Very, very, very good question. Because if it was me, I'd try and get Grealish and Foden into that team. And that means
you put him on the right?
Grealish, Kane, Foden. That's where you go.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think
Sterling's been brilliant. He won't do that because he's got. I don't know. He's a fucking little bitch boy, isn't he? Fucking Southgate. Even though he give the waistcoat and all that, and he give us the World Cup, semi-finals. It was fantastic, but he's gonna play Sterling, mate. He's gonna play Sterling. But to have the richest Sterling, Sancho, Grealish, Foden, we're spoiled for choice.
Yeah, I mean Greenwood's getting there slowly. He's getting there. You can see he's got
Greenwood definitely goes, and this brings me on to my next point. The people down from Kane that are a striker, you've got Calvert-Lewin, you've got Watkins, you've got Rashford, right? Mm-hmm. Greenwood. And don't get me wrong, Greenwood is above Watkins and Calvert-Lewin for me. He's a brilliant finisher of a football. Fact.
Yeah.
But when you need something a bit different, because these players are quite similar, right?
Yeah.
You're taking Patrick Bamford every single fucking day this week. The guy runs his heart out, right? And you see him in his interviews afterwards. He's knackered. And he is a fit lad. Like, he is running and running and running, right? 17 Premier League goals in his first season in the Premier League. 8 assists, right?
He is actually up, spoiler alert, Patrick Bamford is up for one of my nominations for the most improved player.
100%. Listen, you speak to me this time last year, he's a prick. He's a cunt. Don't like him.
Yeah, my missus, her brother-in-law, my father-in-law, they're both Leeds fans, and last season they weren't massive fans on Bamford, but their opinions change. I mean, he's come into the Premier League, and it sounds stupid, but he's kind of made. It's almost as if he's done the opposite of what everyone else does. He's made the Premier League look easy and the Championship look hard, which is it's a strange concept.
There's only one English player that's played better than him this year, and that's through statistics and facts, right? Harry Kane has scored more goals and he's assisted more goals. And the second player below him is Patrick Bamford. And he's not even got a fucking sniff, mate. Joke. Absolute joke. Because...
Why is that?
England, face don't fit. Southgate, he's got his bumming boys. I don't know. At the end of the day, right, England are beating Spain 1-0, right? Semi-final, quarter-final, whatever. And you need to defend well. Well, him as a striker will help in that situation. There's a corner to Spain in the 90th minute. Bamford's the one that's heading the ball away. Bamford's the one that's taking the ball down. And he's going to win you a corner or a throw-in down the other end of the field where some fucker else ain't chasing that ball down.
There's not many strikers that will go back and defend corners like that. I can think of two others off the top of my head. One being Harry Kane, and the other one being Bobby Firmino. But there's not many. It's a rare quality for strikers to do. And not just, I mean, some strikers go back for corners, but they probably head the ball out 5 times a season.
I'll tell you something that's interesting, right? I was listening to the Phil Hay podcast yesterday. By the way, hope you get well, Phil. He's had a brain tumour. He's had it taken out. I was listening to the Phil Hay show yesterday. Big Leeds United reporter. All right, Dominoes, is that for me? Anyway, and they were talking about the CEO, Angus Kinnear from Leeds United. He was on the podcast, and he was talking about Bamford, and he was saying there's clubs that have contacted Leeds, and he wouldn't give anything away, but they're in the top half of the table.
Okay.
About trying to buy him. How much would Patrick Bamford cost? And
first of all, what clubs do you think this would be?
I think it was Liverpool.
It's very like for Firmino, isn't it? I mean, I know Bamford's a little bit more direct. He scores more than Bobby. I can see where you're coming from. And, I mean, I would like Rafinha, but if I was offered Bamford for a decent price, I'd take him. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be saying that this time last year.
I can say, do you know when you see the rumours flying about and you think, they're not going to want to try and buy Pat Bamford after one season in the bloody Premier League. But to actually hear Leeds United CEO saying we offered him a new contract because of the interest in him, it's got to be a thing.
Has he signed it or?
Well, he said it's there, it's on the table. You know, he was already earning good wages at Leeds. And, you know, he's probably going to be hitting, you know, what Rodrigo earns and stuff like that. Because, you know, Rodrigo, we brought him in, Spain's number 9. He earns $100,000 a week. Leeds United paying £100,000. But Pat Bamford, if they want to keep him, they have to be offering him something between £80,000 to £100,000 a week. Freddie, you kick that ball at me again, mate, I will volley you over the flats. I'm very kidding. And anyway, my second striker, so Foden, Bamford, obviously there. Harry Kane, you've got to have Harry Kane in your team. I don't care who you are or what money you've got. Whoever signs Harry Kane this summer, because he's not staying at Spurs, not a chance.
I think he will.
Whoever signs Harry Kane this summer will win the Premier League next season.
I think if he does go, we all know what Levy's like. He will go for a hell of a lot, and if I think he might go for world record transfer fee, because I know what what Levy's like.
No. He's not going to beat Neymar. What was Neymar? 106?
No, I think it was 200.
It'll be over 100, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he goes for about 120.
Yeah. I think if he does go, it's Manchester clubs. Because I don't think Real Madrid can afford him. I don't think Barca can afford him. I think Bayern Munich might have a sniff. PSG.
Right. Bayern Munich are not going to buy Harry Kane. German teams don't work like that, mate. They don't spend that money. All Bayern Munich do is buy all the Dortmund's players off the price.
I mean, if he doesn't go to a Manchester club, I don't think Chelsea will go for him.
No,
Liverpool, 100% won't.
United or Man City, 100%.
I think the other one will get Haaland.
No, I think Haaland stays at Dortmund for another year, and then speaks by 68 million next summer.
Yeah, I mean, there's a question for you. Would you soon have Kane or Haaland?
I mean, Haaland's younger and he's got sell-on value, so Haaland 100%. But again, that's not going to say. Do you know what? I won't be surprised if he started Bayern Munich. You know what I just said? In that German league, the German league's a joke. It's a better quality, more financial league than the Scottish football. They've won that league 12 years in a row or something. Not competitive.
It's not. I mean, we was on about competitiveness the other week, and I still think that the Spanish league's up there, especially this season. I mean, this season's been so damn close. Relegation, European places, winning the league.
This season is COVID. Yeah.
It's a strange one.
You had Aston Villa beat Liverpool 7-2. Would that happen with fans in the ground in a proper season? No.
No, probably not. Let's be honest, it was a lucky 7-2. It could have been 12-2, to be honest.
By the way, shout out.
Liverpool were lucky.
Fucking hell did Liverpool?
How did we get top 4?
No, third. How the fuck did they finish third?
I don't know. I think, we had a great end to the season. I think Klopp made the biggest boo-boo of the season, not playing Fabinho in centre-back. Don't do that. You know what I mean? He's too good in central mid.
It's been great that everyone's watched. It's been great that anyone does watch. Thanks for coming on with Dave.
Oh, hang on. We still got one more nomination yet, Manager of the Season. Now, can I just do my quick advert and then you give me yours? So, Lewis might not pick one of these managers that I've put out. So, but this is just one of them for the thing. So let me just put it on for you.
Rolling to a beat down the street like what up? My G look good, but she ain't no cut up. Shut up, you talk too much, you get crushed. I'll be right here chilling from down the duck. That's us all day, homie, don't run up. Cause my crew's so tough like a Tonka truck. Lean back with a G-set hustler. What they call that, boy? You a customer.
I'm addicted to it. Raps like fluid, take shape and color. That of trueness, that's deep beef, I can't lose it. Put the shit in the trunk, it's new music. We old souls, big bank rolls. Law of attraction, yeah, I think so. Playing for the block of the internet nerds. Different people, same words.
Let me serve this murder, cool like sherbet. I've been that curve in a black Suburban, swerving, amp live remix version. I'm surging, still no stopping now. No Jesus peace, but I locked it down. Apocalyptic, my pen can spit rounds. Flip clowns, I'ma kick that style. This is our time, how we get it right.
Now, you might not agree with that, and boys, Tuchel should be nominated. You know what? I borderline agree with that. The only reason I'm not put Tuchel in is because he's not had a whole season. That's the only reason. But after last night, you never know. But anyway, Lewis, I can pretty much guess who you're going to pick. But you might surprise me.
I think David Moyes has been a revelation, especially because this is his second stint at this job. It's amazing. I think they've got a good group of players. You know, I think they've probably overachieved. You know, next season in Europe, without the strength and depth, they might battle relegation.
Yeah, we could do. I mean, Chris Wilder.
Thursday, Sunday. They might struggle, but David Moyes,
I mean, this time last year, Chris Wilder was one of the favourites to win it,
and they didn't even qualify for Europe. But at the end of the day, Sheffield United, I mean, definitely overachieved last year, and shown their proof this year. They should never have sacked, by the way.
You got a comment there.
You know what? You think that I'm going to say Bielsa?
Someone says, Lou, come on, thinking Ollie. Not.
I'm definitely not going to choose Bielsa.
Wow. Okay. Breaking news.
No. Don't get me wrong. What Bielsa's done, right? I tell you what. Last game of the season is against West Brom when Leeds won 3-1. Right. 10 of those.
Maria, I'll go get Daddy an orange.
All right, you lumper. Right. 10 of those players that played on the last game of the season in the Premier League 3 years ago, 8 of them, and 2 of them on the bench, started Bielsa's first game against Stoke. So what he's done is out of this world. Okay? Yeah. Out of this world.
Yeah.
But
Lewis is on the phone.
But from losing the league last year, from everything they've achieved this year, even though they lost last night, for me, Pep Guardiola is especially after the start they had.
Is he not doing it?
I am. Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers in world football that there's ever been.
Lewis, your biggest fans on screen.
High five! I can't explain how good that guy is. And for me, manager of the season is Pep Guardiola.
Wow. Okay. Now there is a reason. I'm not saying it's a spoiler, because I'm still making my mind up. We had a phone call yesterday, and I explained that this is the only subject where I've not made my mind up. And there was a reason I planned this for episode 4 is because of the date. It was after the Champions League. It was after the Europa League final. I put Ollie in there because as much stick as he gets, I think he's had a great season, Man U. And I think that lad gets a lot of unfair criticism, especially from United fans. I mean, I see Ollie out trending every time they draw. Not lost, draw. To teams like Man City or to Chelsea. They get a result and it's Ollie out. And I don't get it. Moyes, 100%. Bielsa, phenomenal. Pep, phenomenal what he's achieved. I know he didn't win the Champions League, but still phenomenal achievement. I'm surprised you've gone for Pep. I thought you'd go for Bielsa, and I don't think you'd have gone for him just because you're a Leeds fan, but the fact that he has a bloody good season.
No, I love Leeds. I love everything about it, but I'm still a football fan. You know, even Chelsea, Man City last night, right? I was watching the celebrations earlier, and I started welling up a little bit because I feel the passion. I feel, Chelsea, they've done nothing this year, and they shouldn't do anything this year. And they've won the Champions League, mate.
Yeah, but you say they've done nothing. They did spend a masses of amounts in the summer.
Yeah, and the people they spent that money on, how many of them are actually involved in the success they've had, apart from Havertz? None.
And let's be honest, Havertz only turned up. I mean, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert now. Now, I had to change my mind. Havertz was actually, I was going to pick him as my most disappointing player this season until he did last night. And I thought, you know what? You can't, the guy's just paid for his transfer fee and 1 goal. So I was originally going to pick him until last night. I'm not going to tell you who I'll pick now, but.
Like we said, Dave, you got the Gaffer's Gaff or Dave's Dave coming.
Dave's Dave.
Dave's Dave. And we need to nip this in the bud now. And what we'll do is we will leave this with telling you my team of the season, which is Meslier in goal, Luke Shaw, Diaz, Stones, Wan-Bissaka, with Kevin De Bruyne, Phillips, Fernandes, Foden, Kane, and Bamford. And Fred's is going now, so I'm going to leave you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Take care. See you in a bit.